Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to some more Hearthstone Arena. Now, I have a daily quest today to win a game as a rogue or warrior. I'm already at 1 of 2, but I figure, hey, if a rogue or warrior comes up in the arena, that's who I will pick, and that's who I will play. I think they'd both do okay-ish in here. We're going to see how we can possibly do. Warlock, Hunter, or Shaman. Alright, so that's not one of those. Now, I think I kind of want to go for the Shaman, because I've done a Shaman Arena before, and it went horribly because I didn't get any removal. And I kind of want to, I don't know, have that work out again. I have had a great run as a Hunter, which wasn't recorded, but it was a fantastic set of games. And of course, the very first time was as a Warlock. And I would like to sort of redeem myself as the Warlock stuff, but we're going to go for Shaman. Now, one of the things about the Shaman is with the totemic call power, you do have the opportunity to put out a lot of 0-2 critters out there, in a way that's similar to the Paladin, but frankly, 0-2 is going to be slightly tankier, and they come with an ability. And what I really like is you can use a bunch of creatures and stuff, and various effects and spells that will buff, say, all of your minions, and therefore enable your totems to attack. So we might look at a sort of a swarm sort of deck construction if we can pull it off. I'm hoping we can also get a fair deal of actual spell casting and some spell damage. I'm not a huge fan of the Shaman shock spells. I feel like they're too small and wimpy most of the time, but if you can get any extra spell damage, even just +1, then all of a sudden those shock spells do 2 damage, and it really adds up quite wonderfully. Hey, there's a Doomsayer again. Oof. Rough. The Mountain Giant is very cool, but does really require you to have a full hand to be able to, say, play him ever. And the fact of the matter is, like, even with 5 cards in your hand, so he's going to be a 7-cost 8-8, which isn't bad, but you can actually just get 7-cost 8-8. And unless you're comboing it with a lot of card draw, I don't think you're ever going to get him cheaper or faster than that. Not a fan of the Murloc War Leader, though. Obviously, in an arena deck, I mean, we know from the last time around, you're just not going to get that many. Now, is a 3-3 for 3 very good? Not really. You can get 3-2s for 2. So 3-3 is certainly better. There is the possibility of having 2 Murlocs out at the same time and improving things. I guess I'm going to take the Doomsayer again. I'm not convinced that he's necessarily great, and it's not going to work out very well with our Swarm technique. But there's always the possibility of him doing something really, really cool if you can protect him. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. The Loot Hoarder is not great, but he's not bad. I do like Taunt quite a bit, you guys know that. I think the Wind Speaker is pretty cool, and he does have the potential of giving you a little bit of a combo there that leads to some pretty high damage. But I think what I want to do is lock down one Taunter here. The Fen Creeper is not my favorite of them, but I want to go ahead and grab that, which is probably silly. The Wind Seeker is really strong. But, yeah. I like the Elven Archer because it's cool kind of removal. A lot of times you can actually get a 2-for-1 on the Elven Archer, which isn't bad. The Abusive Sergeant is actually okay, too. Both of them are poor first turn drops. If I have an Elven Archer in my hand on turn 1, I will not cast her. I will leave her in my hand and use her when her battle cry actually comes into effect more. And I really do like the Elven Archer in this kind of format for that. Ancestral Healing is very cool. If you've got some things with a lot of health, the heal part really helps. And also having a Taunt on demand is pretty good. Obviously, you'd prefer just drawing a creature. And that's my thing with the Ancestral Healing. I look at it and it's like, oh, you can do all these cool things. Or you could just actually have a creature instead. Obviously, the creature would cast mana, so the balance is a little bit different, but that's why I don't really value Ancestral Healing highly. I really like the Fire Elementals, though. I mean, a 6-5 for 6 is actually not terrible, but that Battle Cry, you will almost always be able to get 2-for-1 card efficiency with the Fire Elemental, so I'm gonna get that. The Frost Elemental's okay, but, you know, let's compare, right? Same mana cost, a 6-5 versus a 5-5, freezing a character versus probably killing a character. And of course, you can always use this to damage the enemy hero as well. So Fire Elemental much better. Of course, Fire Elemental also is a Shaman specific card, which is hopefully why it's better. The Wild Pyromancer is actually really neat. I don't think he's a good card for this format, but I really want to play around with different kind of constructed ideas that use the Wild Pyromancer in some fashion. I don't know what that is. I'm actually a relatively big fan of the Abomination in general. You know that I love Taunt, and 2 damage to all characters is actually a pretty cool self-destruct mode, especially on something that's Taunt and therefore has to be attacked. However, I think in this deck it's not going to work out, especially because it's going to kill all of our totems. and potentially other kind of swarmy type of things we want to do. Pint-Sized Summoner, actually, I think is going to work out pretty well for us. We actually are almost fat drafting at this point, so that that will help. 2/2 for 2 is not terrible, so what the hell. All right, this is actually an interesting and tough decision. Silence is pretty good. I much prefer the 4/3 for 4 guy that comes in and silences. The Ironbeak Owl is, to me, a little bit wimpy and has less good utility in general. Obviously works good if you're looking to do beastie kind of things, like as a hunter, for example. But a silence is good, and it would be nice to have some. But, and as much as I diss the Frost Shock in terms of the amount of actual damage it does, I think I'm going to go for the Frost Shock. The Flame Tongue Totem is actually not bad. That is a pretty significant damage boost, and 3 health is tough to displace. But I want a little bit of this targety kind of thing, and I'm still hoping to get a little bit of spell damage, so let's pick that up. I'd much prefer the Earth Shock one. That's got the built-in silence, much handier. But we'll take what we can get. Priestess of Elune, I'm not a fan of. 5/4 for 6 is very not well costed. You can get a 5/4 for 4. And restoring 4 health to your hero specifically is, to me, not going to be a game breaker. I think she's just an overly weak card in general, so I'm not going to go for it. The Wind Fury Harpy can actually put a fair amount of damage if, excuse me, if you can get a little bit of offensive boost as a combo as well. So there's potential there, probably more in a kind of constructed kind of thing. And she's relatively, you know, fat and hard to kill, and could probably deal 4 damage to the hero and then kill something, potentially kill 2 things actually, because she is pretty healthy. I like the Argent Squire though. He's actually kind of a pain to dislodge because of the Divine Shield. Not that much. He's almost like a 1/2 for 1. But he can sometimes trade at a 2 for 1 card efficiency. Or she, I should say. The Argent Squire. I'm definitely skipping the Priestess of Elune. It's just a question of which side to go here. Wind Fury Harpy. I have not picked up a damage buff yet, so I think I'm actually just going to pick up the Argent Squire here, because he's a decent cheapie. And then, well, or she is. And then we'll keep looking at maybe some more expensive stuff. Unbound Elemental, I actually go back and forth on in Constructed. I'm not even sure if it's a good card in Constructed. Same cost as the Questing Adventurer. And the Questing Adventurer comes in 2/2, but triggers on any card. This only triggers on Overload cards. So a 2/4 for 3 could be worse in terms of a ratio, but we don't have any Overload stuff yet at all, so I don't think we're going to depend on it. I'm going to pick up the Sen'jin's Shieldmaster. I do like him a lot. I have been favoring slightly different taunt creatures lately, but we'll see what we can do. Hex, I think, is definitely a no-brainer. We would have gotten a little bit of Murlocs going on, but we need Hex. Gets rid of fatties, gets rid of everything. You do have to have a really full hand for this Twilight Drake to really be worth playing. Unless you can get it to a 4/5 status, I think that it's not worth the card, and that requires 4 other cards in your hand beyond the Twilight Drake, which can certainly happen. I think I want the Master Swordsmith, though. There's a lot of potential for giving +1s potentially in this deck. We actually, at this point, we've already picked up a couple of Taunters, which is not bad. Plus, a fair amount of our totems will be the Taunt Totems, which means there's a good chance that this guy will survive at least a couple of turns. It'd be kind of handy, so I'm going to pick him up. Leper Gnome is a really annoying first turn drop. A 2/1 for 1 is not bad, and it's just so annoying to deal the extra 2 points of damage. That being said, I think we're going to go for the Frostwolf Warlord. There's a lot of chance that we're going to have a lot of friendly minions in the battlefield, and he could potentially come in for a 6/6 or more. It would be very easy for him to come in as a 6/6 for 5, and potentially be even fatter than that. So I like it. I actually like the Stranglethorn Tiger quite a bit. I mean, compare him to the Frostwolf Warlord, right? He comes in with a +1/+1 automatically, and Stealth. The Stealth might even be worth an extra +1/+1s. This is almost the value of a 6/6, so they're actually relatively equivalent-ish. And what's nice about the Tiger, of course, is he can't be killed before he has a chance to attack. The Tiger almost acts like a delayed charge. The opponent knows it's coming, but can't really do anything about it. And with that in mind, like, is actually, especially in Arena, I think he's actually a pretty good pick, but I want the Frostwolf Warlord because I think he's going to tie in nicely with our strategy, and we might be able to get him to be a 7/7, 8/8, or something like that. Raid Leader, I think, is a great fit for this deck. I still like the Loot Hoarder. We don't have any card draw yet, and he's neat for that, but the Raid Leader should fit in pretty well for what we're trying to do. Totemic Might is interesting. This is a +2 health, like, permanently, so it just does make them a heck of a lot tougher to kill. But I'm not sure that it's worth a card slot. If you got a lot of totems, yeah, it protects you from a little bit of AoE type stuff. Maybe. And the Frost Elemental I talked about not being totally impressed with. We don't have any weapons yet, so I'm not going to even look at the Dread Corsair at this time. Oof. 5/5 that can freeze a creature, potentially buying you time. Distinctly less good than the Fire Elemental. We'll grab a Totemic Might. We'll see what we can do with it. Swamp Ooze is fantastic card efficiency creature. Obviously, against a lot of people, it's not going to do much, but it's still 3/2 for 2. That's the thing with that Raptor. I mean, I guess the Raptor is a beast. That's what it's got going for it, is that the Raptor is a beast, because it's a 3/2 for 2, but with no ability. You can also get a 3/2 for 2 Dragon Fairy, right? Or Fairy Dragon. But that can't be targeted by spells or heroes' abilities, which is pretty strong. I think we need to grab at least one Acidic Swamp Ooze. The Spiteful Smith is actually really cool, because this Enrage is almost certainly going to trigger. You got 6 health. It's hard for this guy to be killed outright without the Enrage coming into play. And again, this is equivalent to a 5/5 for 5, which is not terrible. But we do need one Swamp Ooze, so I'm going to go for that. The Warden, he is a big fat wall. There's no doubt about that. 4/4 for 5 that comes in and deals damage to enemy hero. Yeah, it doesn't generally give you a lot of card efficiency. It does apply a lot of pressure, which is nice. We might go for 1 Ancestral Healing. We do have a few fatties which could really benefit from this. And even if we're not using it for the heal, it could give us the opportunity to turn the Frostwolf Warlord into a Taunter, or the Fire Elemental into a Taunter. I think we'll probably grab that for the just flexibility and options as we go. Whew, I was talking about maybe wanting some spell damage. The Dalaran Mage is not one of my favorites. I prefer the Kobolds and the Ogre Magi to the Dalaran Mages. I do like the Murloc Tidehunters, especially if we've got sort of AoE buffs. The Earthen Ring Farseer, he does heal anything. But he does heal anything, but I think the Murloc Tidehunter works in very nicely with our Frostwolf Warlord, with our Raid Leader, with if we get the totem that gives everything +1 attack, there's one of those, right? I think I'm going to go for this guy here. But at this point, I definitely want more fat. I feel like we've been leaving it behind. I don't like the Priestess of Elune as our fat, though. I don't think that she's strong enough there. The Razorfine Hunter is cool, works in really well with our strategy, but frankly, so does the Flame Tongue Totem. We could potentially drop it there. I do like that you can have the creatures out already and ready to attack, then we put down the Flame Tongue Totem. We even have the Totemic Might, which helps keep this around a little bit longer. But I like the Razorfine Hunter. He's effectively a 3/4 for 3. Which is a good ratio. He's a little bit more susceptible to AoE, or again, she's a little bit more susceptible to AoE, but at the same time can potentially trade on a better sort of format, because you can trade the 1/1 for something. Falls in really well with our strategy. So both of these are pretty goddamn compatible. I wish we got more stats here in terms of what our minions, what their strength are, and all that. We do have a fair number of creatures. Oh! I'm torn between these two, actually. You know what? We don't have a lot of 3-drops. Let's go and pick this up at this time. Yeah, I can make a big argument for both ways. Another Frostwolf Warlord, very tempting. The Shattered Sun Cleric is actually pretty good. I like that ability, but we want 1 Silence, and I like the Spellbreaker a lot. 4/3 for 4 is alright, and that Silence can really save our bacon a lot. I don't like the Reckless Rocketeer. He's 6 casting cost, 5/2, which is not great stat-wise. Yes, charge is excellent, but a lot of times this is just going to be a very expensive single target removal. You put it down, trade the Rocketeer for 1 creature, and, you know, there's cheaper ways of doing that. That being said, I mean, the War Golem compares nicely to that Mountain Giant, right? Because Mountain Giant was what, or I think that's the name of it. He's an 8/8 for 12 and can be cheaper. Well, 7/7 for 7. I think I'm going to go for it. I do like the Ironforge Rifleman because he can potentially kill something, but a lot of times this 1 damage won't kill something, and a 2/2 for 3, I want a War Golem. I want a big fatty there. Also works in nicely. We get the, yeah, we got the Summoner too, so a little bit cheaper potential. Love Ancestral Spirit. Love it a lot. Actually a big fan of the Knife Juggler, and not so much the Twilight Drake. Maybe it comes in relatively big most of the time, but we don't have much in the way of card draw, so I don't really trust that. I'm going to go for an Ancestral Spirit, huge, huge cool potential with that thing, and it just annoys the other people. Probably another Hex right away. It's interesting that we actually got a lot of buffing Murlocs this time around. Like the Silver Moon Guardian, just Divine Shield again, often you get some card efficiency trading there, but I can't turn down a Hex. Ooh, Stormwind Champion, perfect, exactly what we're looking for. Silverhand Knight, also a half-decent card given what we're trying to accomplish, and generally speaking, very, very good. We are a little on the heavy side. I'm actually debating going for the Silverhand Knight instead. He's effectively a 6/6 for 5, which is really, really, really good. A 6/6 for 7, quite a bit more expensive. The +1/+1 to everything is really good. Stormwind Champion, though, I sometimes feel like the Stormwind Champion is a card that helps you win if you're already winning. Obviously, we need a lot of stuff on the field for the Stormwind Champion to really be notable. I mean, he's only one weaker than the War Golem, right? So he's a 6/6 instead of a 7/7 with a really, really potent buff. But the Silverhand Knight can help you when you're behind, because 2 creatures out that could potentially, like one card you could potentially trade for 2 things. Or put out a lot of damage, a lot of pressure. It combos nicely with the Raid Leader that we've already got in here. We have not taken that Flame Totem yet, which is unfortunate. I'm actually thinking I'm going to go for the Silverhand Knight instead. A little bit faster play, a little bit more pressure. I'm going to do it. That's a really hard pick given what we've tried to do so far. I don't like the Dust Devil. He's got huge potential. If you cast him turn 1 and he survives to turn 2 and you apply 6 damage to the other person, that puts a pretty aggressive clock on them. That being said, going from 30 health to 24 health is not game-changing, and a lot of times he dies, and it means you don't get a turn 2 play because of the overload. And that's it. I'm just not that terribly impressed with the Dust Devil. Of course, you can play him later, and if you combo him with other things that increases his power, his attack, then you can put out a lot more. If I had better stuff as an alternative, it would be an easier thing to ignore the Dust Devil. I don't want the Silverback Patriarch. Not a huge fan of him. Just because there's not enough damage to make the taunt kind of more scary. It's kind of annoying. And we will have a half-decent amount of taunt already. We've got some creatures, we've got the Ancestral Healing, and we have the possibility of a taunt totem. The Thrallmore Farseer. Well, we do have the Raid Leader, and that's true. A few things. Like, how do we compare it to the Dust Devil? I guess is the question. He can't be pinged right away, so you can't just kill him outright. He costs 3 up front, but Dust Devil sort of kind of costs 3 as well, in a sense. He does less damage, which means his Wind Fury is a fair bit less useful. I don't know. Dust Devil really sucks against mages. But that's pretty much the only thing that you're truly screwed up against. You know, or Shaman, we'll go for the Dust Devil. But I trust you guys can see my argument kind of against it. Bloodlust is absolutely, we absolutely have to take it. For sure. It's great in this strategy. It's great all the time. Because, I mean, that's a lot of extra damage. Even if you only have 2 creatures out, that's a lot. That's an extra 6 damage on one card that's instant, that can surprise people, that can allow your weenies to kill big fatties. All kinds of stuff like that. Not bad. The Jungle Panther does have stealth, so his 2 health is less bad, although he can still get AoE'd. The Razorfen Hunter works in really well with our strategy. I do like the Sen'jin Shieldmaster a fair bit. And we don't have that many 4-drops. I know I already have one. I have 2 actual taunt creatures in there, and again, a little bit of potential. I'm trying not to value taunt as much as I used to. But I think I want him. There's a couple of things in our deck that we do want to protect as well. So let's go ahead and throw him in as well. Another Bloodlust. Ooh, this is a tough choice. All of these cards are really, really tempting. +1 damage. We don't actually have... Oh, are we getting another deck with, like, no good direct damage? Is Frost Shock our only damage spell so far? Why the hell do I get screwed when I get Shaman? I don't... Excuse me. I don't have the Lightning Storm. I don't have Lightning Bolt. I only have 1 shock. I don't have the deal 2 damage to 2 creatures at random card. I have no real board clear. Thank God I have hexes. Okay, so we're not going for spell damage, because we just don't have enough to support that, which is bullshit. Second Spellbreaker, really tempting. A second Bloodlust, really tempting. Oh God. Both of these are excellent picks. Excellent picks. This Bloodlust probably will be able to buff at least 3 things. And account for a 9-point swing. Allow our totems to trade for relatively fat creatures. Oh, but a Spellbreaker is good. 4/3 for 4 is okay. That silence can really make a big difference. We only have the one silence. We do have a lot of hexes, though. You know, we can get rid of problematic effects through hexing. I'm going to go for the second Bloodlust. There's a Lightning Bolt. Thank you. Thank you very much. All these are half decent. Lightning Bolt, we need. Absolutely. I think it's really cheap for the cost. It's only got an overload of 1, deals 3 damage. It's going to kill a lot of things really, really well. I'm a fan of the Fairy Dragon, for sure. I'm actually a fair deal of a fan for the Acolyte of Pain. A lot of times you can get a couple of cards out of him. And even if you only get 1 card, it's not terrible. But I think I want a second Frost Shock. Frost Shock is a little bit on the wimpy side. But again, if we get a spell damage totem, it can make a big difference. We don't have much in the way of card draw, though. It does give us a little bit of it, but not much. And Frost Shock could hold off a big fatty for 1 turn and potentially save our bacon. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. And now we've finally got a little bit of spell damage, or spell potential, and I might have gone for a spell damage thing. Hello, Manatide Totem. At the end of turn, draw a card. So he's guaranteed to give you at least 1 card, and if you can protect him, you can get more. Feral Spirit is actually kind of cool. The Overload is a little on the pricey side, but 2 Taunters at 2/3, that's pretty tanky. And there's my frickin' Lightning Storm. This, I mean, yeah, they're all rares, and that's the issue. Holy crap. They're all very tempting, but I think I need a Lightning Storm. It's just so good. These other cards are also good, but Lightning Storm can get so much done. Again, I wish I had a little bit more spell damage now. God, Manatide Totem. I have enough Taunt. I do have a fair amount of Taunt. The Manatide could potentially live to give me a couple... Could maybe live to give me a couple of cards. Although, he may cost someone a card in direct removal, or he can kill it with a creature for nothing. Drawing a Manatide when I'm behind will never save me. Right? Drawing a Lightning Storm when I'm behind can save me. Having a Lightning Storm in my hand when I'm ahead can help ensure that I stay ahead. Lightning Storm. There's another Manatide. Ancestral Spirit, still very, very cool. Sun Fury Protector, very, very handy for protecting things, like to give those things taunt. It does dump a lot of taunt on the field, and it can do a heck of a lot of really cool things. I think I do want to play with a Manatide Totem. I'm not... I guess you can even Ancestral Spirit it, which is odd. That's a lot of cards to protect some potential card draw. I will take 1 Manatide Totem, because I haven't played with it yet, so we'll see exactly how it goes. If I can drop it alongside a Taunter on the board, then it becomes really good. Again, they can use a card to get rid of it directly, but then that costs them a card, so I'm still favorably doing okay. And it will always give me at least 1. And it can be buffed by a variety of other effects. There'll be a Manatide Totem that attacks. Good. All right, that is that. Let's go ahead and play. And see how we do. I'm happy we get some spells at the end, because if this was going to be a repeat of the last Shaman deck, where I had... What did I have? I said I had nothing. I had what? I had 1 spell I could cast. Was it just 1 shock spell? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I had a Lightning Bolt. I know I didn't have Lightning Storm. I still wish I would have gotten the do 2 damage to 2 things at random card, because I think that thing is quite spiffy. I'm a big fan of the multi-shot as a hunter as well. I think multi-shot is better. More damage. Like, the 3 damage is going to kill more things guaranteed. There's a lot of things that 2 damage will not kill. Actually, a fantastic starting hand. I will absolutely keep this starting hand exactly as is, because turn 3 Raid Leader can really put out a lot of beats. If for some reason they've cleared my board by turn 3, then I could put down the Razorfen Hunter instead. Actually, it's going to be... No, it's kind of awkward. What do I draw? Because I've got the coin as well. I could turn 1 Murloc Tidehunter, turn 2 Squire Shock, turn 2 Totem, maybe, and then turn 3 Raid Leader, and I can even attack with the Totem. Or I could just save the coin. You know what? I think I'm going to coin into the Murloc. I think I like the extra speed going on there. Especially against the Warlock, you want to stop them from being able to use their card draw ability as quickly as possible. Because if they're at high health, they use the card draw, they get a card advantage, and then they can lock down the game and not really be threatened. But if you threaten them fast and early, then they can't really use the card draw, and they can't keep going straight ahead. That is really annoying. That is supremely annoying. Hex is actually a pretty good draw right now, though. Except I can't cast it. Because I was going to be able to trade for 1, and now I'd have to Frost Shock. I could ignore them and just go for the beatdown, which I think might actually be okay here. Because I could trade 2 cards for the Ooze, which I don't want to do. I think I'm going to Totem and then attack. We can trade 3 for 3. Ah, or that, actually. That works out semi-okay. Get the early pressure down, and then, yeah, I'll go Raid Leader on my 3rd turn, unless they put down something else. That's a lot of stuff. I can Hex some things. God, what I need is the splash damage so I can kill the Imp right now. Alright, now the Lightning Bolt does modify things ever so slightly. But not very much. You know what? I think I'm going to go for the board clear at this point. So what I'm going to do is do that, do that, do that, put down the Argent Squire, and attack for 1. There was that Pine-Side Summoner could actually be a bit of a pain in the ass if I let him have it. The Ooze wasn't doing as much, but he is 3/3, which was kind of messing with all the options that I have. Okay, Double Blood Imp is really starting to get annoying. Really starting to get annoying. I need to draw that Lightning Storm like yesterday. Raid Leader versus Razorfang Hunter. I'm trying to think. Well, what's he going to do? Hellfire? Hellfire his own imps? You know what? Razorfang Hunter it is. Next turn, Raid Leader. Because I don't think he's got other AoE options. And then we could also have the potential of hexing a big fatty if he puts it down. But if he doesn't put down a big fatty, we can go Totem Raid Leader. That, ugh. I was going to say, it's not that fat, but yeah, I forget. It is with all the bullshit that he's got going on. I think I'm going to hex her. Because she can start clearing the board. Yeah, hex Totem. Totem first. Hex that. Oh my god. I fracking forgot that it's still going to be a 0/3. Holy shit, this is annoying. Lightning Storm, any day now, please. These 2 imps are incredibly pain in the assy. Holy crap. Good pressure. I need the +1 attack, Totem, and the Raid Leader. When one of your other minions dies, draws a card. And it's a 4/4 right now. You're going to break stealth. Now that's very interesting. You're going to double break stealth. Oh, so you can get the card draw stuff going on. Unless I get, like, big, huge removal going on. No matter what, you're going to draw some cards. Well, I've got to target it down first, which is a huge taunt. Which is fine when it's a 4/2. When it's a 4/4... Ugh. This is very annoying. I'm very annoyed. Alright, let's see what the Totem brings us. Spell damage, not helpful. A Raid Leader, and then the question becomes, do we want to put down the Dust Devil at all? We don't have a taunt to protect our dude. Well, I'm a Raid Leader. Now, if we kill both imps, then that drops down to 2 health. Which makes it very much easier to kill next time, but it will mean him drawing 2 cards. I think I'm going to trade the Totem and this to kill that, to prevent the card draw. And then the question is, do I put down the Dust Devil or not? I don't think so, because that way next turn I can put down the War Golem. We're going to save that mana. Gets 2 demons. If he's out of demons, he'd get 1/1 imps, but he hasn't played an actual... Oh no, he actually has 2 demons here. He might have more in his deck. Voidwalker would be actually really annoying, a 1/5 Voidwalker. Come on, Lightning Storm. Oh, that is really, really annoying. Alright, but at least they're not as tough as they used to be. Alright, Acidic Swamp Ooze. I think I want to do the War Golem here. Let's get rid of this Imp. Supply damage directly to forehead. War Golem. End turn. Alright, what you got, buddy? Life tap. Life tap, very good. Excuse me. One of the strongest hero abilities in the game. Possibly the strongest. Maybe a little harder to manage in Arena, because you can't necessarily protect yourself or have certain healing synergies or whatever. He's got another Blood Imp? What is... No. He has 4 Blood Imps? I can't imagine anything more annoying than that. I really need a Lightning Storm. Actually, he can come in and be quite fat. Quite fat indeed. Because I can go Swamp Ooze, a Dust Devil. It'd be nice to have the Taunter out with the Dust Devil. But there's going to be other threats on there. He can kill the Dust Devil if he wants. And that means less dealing with other things. On the other hand, I could put down the Fen Creeper, but it's such a great time to put down the Warlord. So, we are going to Dust Devil. We are then... Actually, maybe I should Totem instead of Swamp Ooze. No, Swamp Ooze. Warlord. Boom. 8/8. Deal with it. And beat him down for 7. Alright. You die next turn, pretty much. Even one taunt won't save you. What else you got going on? This deck is really annoying that this guy's got. Really annoying. This has huge potential to have just screwed me completely. I think we're going to recover fine. Obviously, we've got a lot of health on our side, which means we've got a lot of time in case there's a reversal to potentially re-reverse things. But I think I have a hard time imagining anything you could possibly draw that would help him at this point. Well played. Those imps. Huge pain. I think that breaking stealth on them was a mistake. I think he was trying to encourage the card draw. But I don't know, because if he ended up with like all 4 imps on the table, I couldn't even Lightning Storm them away, which would be... Now that would be incredibly frustrating. Well, this is quite a long video, but we'll go ahead and put in a second game in this video and see what happens. Do-do-do. 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 Okay, come on. Find me someone. Yes, apparently you can purchase additional packs of expert cards from the store. Who knew? I was not aware. Alright. StarCraft Pro. Plays at 300 APM. Garrosh, Hellscream. Alright, so weapons. Good thing that we've got the Acidic Swamp Ooze. This is... I think I'm going to throw all 3 of these back. Actually, keeping the taunt. No, I'm gonna do this. I'm tempted to even throw back the Frost Shock. Actually, yeah. Let's just... That's okay, because Frost Shocking, you know, it's a 1-to-1 trade. But yeah, I was hoping to dig deep, have a Lightning Storm in my hand. Sucks to not have a critter to start off with, but we will draw as well. I don't mind not having a turn 1 play. There we go, got a Frost Shock back. Okay, that works out okay. And I am just going to end turn. We can totem on turn 2. And it's not terrible. I mean, you can start picking off the totems, but it'll keep them busy. There's a possibility that we will not have much in the way of momentum going on for us, which would be unfortunate. So I could Hex it. I could Frost Rock it to prevent it to attack. I think I'm just going to accept the fact that I might get hit once. Next turn we could Lightning Storm if he puts down a second creature, and that would make me very happy. Ooh! Actually, if he doesn't kill that, that opens up some possibilities with a Frost Shock. Actually, I could Frost Shock now if I use the coin, which I think is going to be okay, because otherwise he might just kill the totem. Boom! Excellent! I tell you, like, Shaman decks, a constructed Shaman deck that's got Just the kobolds and the ogre magi, and then the full complement of 4 shocks going on, and then plus the lightning storms. Very, very cool. Lots of options. Divine Shield, pain in the ass. Could just hex it. And I mean, it's not the most dangerous card in the world to save the hex for. Let's do it. Otherwise, we could lose our totem, take a bunch of damage. It does have the shield, which actually makes that card a kind of a pain in the ass in this format. It means not having the hex for a fattier, scarier creature. That is okay. It's lightning stormable. Don't mind that. Do you have another creature coming? Oh, Fiery War Axe. Kills the totem. Kills the totem. Costs him nothing, basically, because he doesn't take damage from that. Do I want to AoE at this point? Might be a little early for that. And if I don't, what do I do? Just totem and then continue? You know, let's totem and continue. It will maybe just encourage him to, you know, waste a turn doing that. Yeah. And then we'll just hope he puts down another creature that we can Lightning Storm. Get maximum efficiency out of that. We're, again, giving up the... I guess he can axe the totem. But he's going to do that instead and save his axe for maybe other removal later on. Okay, that's actually good, because there's a possibility if he'd given his other guy +1/+1, it might not have been Lightning Stormed away. I hope that... I don't know what I'm going to do here in terms of... I guess I might totem Lightning Storm. If I get the +1 spell damage, it guarantees full board clear. But at this point, I'm guaranteed to kill 2, and I might get the third guy with my Lightning Storm. So we'll see how it goes. Did he not attack with his other one? That's weird. Yeah, it's going to be a totem into Lightning Storm. Come on, +1 spell damage just to guarantee the kill. Which one's this? The healing one. Alright. Come on, get all 3. Get all 3. Get all 3. Son of a bitch. Oh well. That's going to be okay. So again, momentum-wise, we are doing poorly. But there's some pretty cool options in our hand. Bloodlust is not helping right now. The Ancestral Spirit, actually, it's not bad. We do have locked up mana, so we're going to have 4 on our next turn, which continues to be really, really awkward. Could put down the Mana Tide Totem, which is just going to kill his last axe and really do nothing for us. Yeah, the next turn's going to be really awkward here. That is vaguely interesting. As of that, well, I can put down the archer to eliminate the butthead, and then probably just totem and call it a turn. Let's totem first, just to see. Alright. But then next turn we will have 7 mana available to us, which could mean a Fen Creeper with an Ancestral Spirit on it. Probably wasteful. The Fire Elemental, how much toughness does it have? 5. Ooh. Sea Giant. 1 less for each other minion. Oh, that is very scary. I really need another Hex here. Alright, what do we do about this? He's still got the weapon. The Acidic Swamp Ooze is pretty good. I could... ping the tank, well, for at least 1 for my creatures. In practice, it'll be both. Put down the Fire Elemental to kill it. Have 1 mana left over. I could put down the Fen Creeper to defend a little bit, but not really that much. And then I'd also be able to put down the Acidic Swamp Ooze. I think the Fire Elemental, and then we can throw... Actually, it's not even worth putting Taunt on him, because he's just going to trade for it. It doesn't really matter what order I play these in, so let's do that. Kill that off. Take the damage. Oh, actually, it would be a trade. Oh, but I don't have enough. Full health. That's really annoying. Too bad I didn't have one more mana, because dropping the Ancestral Spirit on the fire guy would be fantastic right now. Oh, son of a bitch. That is really unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. I don't think we've got the cards ready to flip this around. Like, the momentum is just way too far gone. Well, we can make the Manatide Totem a must-kill. Actually, I can Fen Creeper Ancestralize it and make sure it lives. Because what I'd like to do is Fen Creeper, Ancestral, Manatide, but I can't do all three. I think I'm going to have to do this. Actually, we'll survive, and then I can Ancestral Healing it, depending on what he does. Ah, Silence. Really? Gets rid of all the buffs, all the everything. GG. Game over. Damn it. Alright, I'm going to put a cut in here. We'll be back next time. See you, folks.